Can you believe who Donald Trump is picking to be in a second Trump administration?
Yeah. Well, you have to listen to Donald Trump. He's been very forthright about how he views the world. He's interested in people who are loyal to him 100% of the time, no matter what the issue, no matter what the facts, no matter who gets hurt. He wants people who just say yes.
All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive. You know, we always pick something super interesting to take apart, and today is no different. We're looking at a recent Fox News article about some new White House appointments from President-elect Trump, and I gotta say this really piqued my interest because it's against some familiar faces, some new faces, and
yeah, you know, I was thinking the same thing. It's interesting to see who he brings back for round two, right? And what that might tell us about, you know, his plans for the second term. So let's jump right in and break down these appointments. The first one that caught my eye was James Braid.
Okay, yeah, Braid. So he's slated to be the Deputy Assistant to the President and Director of the Office of Legislative Affairs.
Which is a mouthful, but basically means he's going to be dealing with Congress a lot. Which makes sense when you consider his background.
Well, like the article lays out his resume, and it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
He served in the Office of Management and Budget during Trump's first term.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then was a lead policy staffer for VP-elect J.D. Vance, and even served as Chief of Staff for several members of Congress.
So, yeah, this guy knows his way around Capitol Hill, that's for sure.
Like he's got a Ph.D. in Congress.
Right. And that's got to be valuable to Trump, especially if you think about...
Oh, yeah, go on.
Well, you know how things can get kind of rocky between the White House and Congress.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with the divided Congress, like we're probably going to see.
Exactly. So having someone like Braid, who knows how to navigate those choppy waters, build relationships, anticipate problems before they even arise.
It's like bringing in a seasoned diplomat, almost like...
chess master.
Yeah, a chess master who's thinking 3 moves ahead.
Right, and maybe smoothing things over before they even become a problem.
Exactly. Okay, so Braid is definitely a strategic pick. Now, what about Alex Latcham?
I know, he's an interesting one. He's taking on the Office of Public Liaison as Deputy Assistant to the President.
And the article points out that he's been a close advisor to Trump for, like, forever.
Yeah, something like 8 years. He served in the first term, was a senior deputy political director for the campaign, and even worked at the RNC.
Wow. So that's like 8 years of working side by side with Trump. That's going to count for something, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just a deep level of trust and understanding. You know, Latcham probably knows how Trump thinks, how he reacts to things, what makes him tick.
He's almost like a walking, talking Trump encyclopedia.
Right. And that could be crucial when it comes to public perception, you know, making sure that Trump's message is getting out there the right way.
Right.
And handling any controversies might pop up.
Because let's be real, there are always going to be controversies.
Always. So having someone who can anticipate those and advise Trump on how to navigate them.
It's like damage control before the damage even happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so Braid for Congress, Latcham for public image, and then we've got Matt Brasseaux. This is the one I'm really curious about. He's the newcomer in this group, right?
Yeah, he's taking over the Office of Public Affairs as Deputy Assistant to the President. But his background is pretty interesting.
Yeah, he was a deputy political director for the Trump campaign and the RNC, but he also managed the campaign for now Gov. Joe Lombardo in Nevada.
That Nevada connection is interesting. Makes you wonder
if Trump's got some specific plans for Nevada.
It's possible, right? Nevada is a swing state. It's becoming more and more diverse. It's like a microcosm of a lot of the political forces at play nationwide.
So Brasseaux's experience there could be really valuable?
Yeah, I think so. And, you know, he's coming in with a recent victory under his belt. He's got that campaign energy, and he knows what resonates with voters.
So maybe he's bringing some fresh thinking to the White House.
Yeah, a little shakeup, which could be a good thing.
Definitely. Okay, so we've got experience with Braid loyalty with Latcham and this fresh energy with Brasseaux.
It's a pretty interesting mix. Makes you wonder what it all means for Trump's second term.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, what's the overall strategy here?
Yeah, is he playing it safe or shaking things up? Or maybe a little bit of both.
Well, that's a question for part 2 of our deep dive. So stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back after a short break.
Okay, so we're back, and we've been talking about these 3 new White House appointments from President-elect Trump, Braid, Latcham, and Brasseaux. And I'm trying to wrap my head around the bigger picture here. Like, what does it all say about Trump's approach to this second term?
Yeah, it's like trying to put together a puzzle right now. We've got these pieces, but we're not sure how they all fit together yet. But I think there are some clues we can pick up on.
Like what? Give me something, I need details.
Well, first of all, you've got two returning players, Braid and Latcham. Both of them served in Trump's first term. They know how things work in the White House. They know Trump's style. So that suggests a certain level of continuity.
Okay, so he's sticking with what he knows, at least to some extent.
Right. But then you've got Brasseaux, the newcomer. And he's coming from the campaign world. He's got that fresh energy, that outside perspective.
It's like he's bringing a different kind of playbook to the game.
Exactly. And that makes me think that Trump is also looking to shake things up a bit. Maybe inject some new ideas into the mix.
So it's not just more of the same. It's not just a carbon copy of the first term.
Right. Because, let's be honest, the political landscape has changed since then. The challenges are different. And Trump himself has probably learned some things along the way.
So maybe he's trying to adapt, evolving his approach to fit the new reality.
Exactly. And Brasseaux could be a key part of that adaptation.
Okay, so we've got continuity and change, but what about potential conflicts? Like you've got these two insiders, Braid and Latcham, who presumably have Trump's ear, and then you've got this newcomer, Brasseaux, who might have a different perspective. Could that create some tension?
Oh, definitely. You can imagine scenarios where they're clashing over strategy or policy.
Like Braid and Latcham advising one course of action based on their experience, and then Brasseaux coming with a totally different idea based on his campaign experience.
Right, and then it comes down to Trump. Will he side with his old guard, or will he be open to new ideas?
That's a good question, because we all know Trump has his own way of doing things. He's not afraid to shake things up. He's not afraid to go against the grain.
Exactly. So it'll be interesting to see how he manages these different personalities and perspectives within his administration.
It's like a political pressure cooker, and we're all just waiting to see what comes out.
Right. And don't forget, these appointments are just the tip of the iceberg. We still don't know who he's going to pick for other key positions. And those choices will reveal even more about his overall strategy.
Okay, so we're talking about continuity change, potential conflicts, but what about the big question? The C word.
Change.
Yeah. How much change are we actually going to see in a second Trump term? Because on the one hand, he's always been a disruptor. He likes to shake things up. But on the other hand, he's also shown a willingness to stick with what he knows, to surround himself with familiar faces.
Right. It's a tough one to call. He might bring in some new ideas, new approaches, especially in areas where he feels like the first term fell short. But
you don't think he's going to completely change his tune?
I don't think so. I think his core beliefs, his overall style of governing, that's probably going to stay pretty consistent.
So it's more about fine-tuning than a complete overhaul.
Exactly. Like taking a car that's already running pretty well and just making a few adjustments to improve performance.
Okay, so we're not expecting a 180-degree turn, but we should be looking for those subtle shifts in emphasis, the strategic tweaks that might signal an evolution of his approach.
Right. And I think that's where these appointments come in. They give us some clues about the direction he's heading in.
It's like each appointment is a brushstroke, and we're starting to see the bigger picture emerge.
Exactly. But we still need more brushstrokes, more appointments, more policies, before we can really understand the full picture.
Okay, so keep your eyes peeled, folks. This is just the beginning. Man, it feels like we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have. It's amazing how much you can unpack from just a few personnel decisions, right? Like we started with these three names, and we've ended up talking about everything from potential power struggles to, the legacy of a president.
Yeah, it's been a real deep dive. No pun intended.
Right. But I think it's important to circle back to those three key figures, Braid, Latcham, and Brasseaux, and really try to distill what we've learned about their potential roles.
Yeah, okay, so let's start with James Braid. He's the one with all the legislative experience, right?
Right. He's like the congressional whisperer.
And the article made it seem like his main job is going to be smoothing things over with Congress.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it because, Trump's relationship with Congress has been a bit
rocky.
Yeah, let's go with rocky. So having someone like Braid who knows how to work the system, build relationships.
Like a master negotiator.
Exactly. Someone who can get things done, even when there's a lot of opposition.
Okay, so Braid is the guy who's going to make sure Trump's agenda actually has a chance of getting through Congress.
That's the idea. Now, Alex Latcham, he's a different kind of player.
Yeah, he's the communications guy.
Yeah.
The one who's been with Trump for almost a decade.
Right. So he's probably got a pretty good handle on how Trump wants to be perceived by the public.
And how to control the narrative.
Exactly. Because let's be honest, perception is everything in politics. And Trump is a very polarizing figure.
So Latcham's job is to make sure that Trump's message is getting out there in the right way.
And to minimize any potential damage from controversies, which, let's face it, there will be controversies.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that. Okay, and then we have Matt Brasseaux, the wild card.
The one with the fresh perspective.
Yeah, he's coming from the campaign world.
Yeah.
And he's got that Nevada connection.
Which is interesting, right? Because Nevada is a swing state.
Yeah.
It's becoming increasingly diverse.
So it's like a microcosm of the whole country.
Exactly. So Brasseaux's experience there could be really valuable.
Yeah, it's like he's bringing a different kind of expertise to the White House.
And a different kind of energy. You know, that campaign energy.
Which could be a good thing or a bad thing.
We'll have to wait and see.
Okay, so we've got the legislative strategist, the communications guru, and the campaign trail veteran.
It's like a pretty formidable team, at least on paper.
Yeah, but how it all plays out in reality, that's the big question. Because we're talking about real people here with their own ambitions, their own agendas.
And their own personalities.
Yeah.
Which could clash.
Oh, yeah, there's bound to be some fireworks. But that's what makes this so fascinating, right? It's like a real-life political drama.
Exactly. And we have a front row seat.
Okay, so I think we've done a pretty good job of breaking down these appointments and what they might tell us about Trump's second term.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground. From individual backgrounds to potential power dynamics to the bigger question of continuity versus change.
And for our listeners, I hope this is giving you a better understanding of the people behind the headlines and the complex forces at play in a second-term presidency.
Because these appointments are just the beginning. The story is still unfolding.
Exactly. So stay tuned, folks. There's a lot more to come, and we'll be here to break it all down for you. Until next time, keep exploring.